baby, pull me closer in the backseat of your Rover that I know you can't afford. Bite that tattoo on your shoulder. Pull the sheets right off the corner of that mattress that you stole from your roommate back in Boulder. We ain't ever getting older.
Gentlemen, a pleasant good afternoon and welcome once again to another very special edition of today's program, West Indian Today, coming to you in the kind courtesy of the ITV family and also coming to you in the kind courtesy of Parikh Worldwide Media. Thank you once again, friends, for being a part of our show, and thank you so much for your support as you've been giving us your support over the past few years. So over the past few months, we've had the good honor of talking to many great individuals, but today, I mean, this guest that I'm going to have, of course, she is my most anticipated guest, ladies and gentlemen. When I would have to say 3 years ago, when I heard one of her songs on YouTube, I instantly became a fan of hers. And it's funny, like, you know, someone sent me the link while I was driving. I'm listening to that song. I'm like, who is that? She's amazing. And it's been a while since, you know, ever since then, she's evolved and she's touched so many lives, so many people with her music. She's recently come out with a new song as well. And ladies and gentlemen, she's someone who's performed in the National Center for Performing Arts in India and even in the White House. Most of you know her as Bollywood YouTube, well, actually Bollywood and also American, you know, cover artists and mashup artists. Actually, she's an American YouTuber. Ladies and gentlemen, joining with me on deck, and no, we're not kidding. We actually do have her on here, the one, the only, Vidya Vox. So it is, of course, my great honor to welcome you after such a long time. Welcome, Vidya.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here, and I'm glad we can make this happen. I'm very excited.
Before we do talk about anything and before we talk about your musical journey, I want to basically get an understanding from you because I know you're in LA. What's the situation like and how has COVID impacted your life?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the past 2 weeks are finally, you know, are the time where I'm trying to feel like a little bit more myself and a little bit more normal. I think in the beginning, it was very paralyzing to not being able to like, you know, have all these canceled shows and then trying to figure out in terms of like income and things like that. It is difficult because that is the revenue stream for most artists and, you know, also people on my team, like my dancers and things like that. So it was very difficult in the beginning trying to figure out what we can do to, you know, have some sense of normalcy. And everyone would always ask me, they're like, oh, this is such a great time. You're not traveling, you're not going anywhere. So have you been writing a lot of music? And to be like honest, I have not been writing a lot of music because I haven't been in the mental state to be able to, you know, write or like create that much. But in the last couple of weeks, I feel like I finally started to write and practice and get back to my normal routine. And I just started, I think we all were doing that, just like binging all these shows because I never also got the opportunity to do that previously. So COVID's been, and in LA right now, I think the cases are, you know, better, but it's still important. A lot of people, you know, take masks for granted. So I think we all need to, you know, do our part and wear a mask. And it's so easy to do that. So, and hopefully we can put this behind us very soon.
All right, so for those of you, the naysayers who refuse to wear a mask, you heard it from Vidya. I mean, all of us, we need to wear a mask. And of course, wearing a mask saves not your life, not only your life, but someone else's life, the person right next to you. And so, you know, I mean, and Vidya, we are going to talk a little bit more about, well, you know, some of the things actually that's occurred for you during the pandemic. But there are two things before we do get into the interview and some of the stuff I want to talk about, because I want to basically get like a deeper understanding of Vidya. Vidya Vox. I mean, so many people, they admire you, and for their sake, actually, I would like for them to, connect with you. I mean, understand you so they can see a bit of themselves in you. But I want to congratulate you on 3 things. The third thing I'll tell you towards the ending of the interview that I want to congratulate you. First off, congratulations on 7 million subscribers on YouTube. And I believe your latest release, which has been about 4 weeks, Lost in the Summer. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, it's been crazy to, I can believe that many people are even interested in my music. So I didn't even think I would have one when I started it. So this has been quite the journey.
All right. So, and like I said, the third I'm going to save for towards the ending, and I think it'll be fit that we save it for then. But 7 million subscribers. All right. And as you said, it's been quite the journey. And I know that music has been something quite personal for you ever since your youth. I mean, when you started learning Carnatic music, which is a very beautiful form of music at age 5. But I think that as a young girl growing up in America, I mean, there was certain things that you went through that I think many of us from minority and especially South Asian, Indo-Caribbeans, we go through that as well. Yeah. In fact, you describe it as the identity crisis. So when you look back at that and then here you are today, I mean, how would you describe that feeling?
I think, you said it, basically music helped me discover myself and my identity. I think so much of it growing up, I felt like it was very binary. I thought, okay, I have to be American, I have to fit into school, and I have to do all these things that other kids are doing, and, not really tell anybody. I didn't tell anybody really in school that I had learned music, or I had this entire other life at home. And so then when I'd go home, I felt like, okay, I have to be really Indian, and I have to speak in Tamil and do all these things that, I felt like, okay, I have to be Indian at home. So it never felt like I could be, somehow both. So I think that's something that I did more music and I got in touch with kind of that side of my self. I felt like, okay, this is something that I can do. I can be both. I can be American and I can be Indian, and they're not mutually exclusive. And finding that balance and being okay with that, and being proud of my heritage is something that I've learned as an adult. And I would, it was a painful process, but I feel like I would never, I don't take it for granted anymore. And I think that's something that I've really gained confidence with. And I really encourage anybody that's, in their teens right now, in high school and with social media and things like that. I can't imagine, first of all, growing up with social media. But it's obviously an extra layer of difficulty, especially, during your teenage years and stuff. So I really encourage people to just be proud of your heritage. I think if that's something that I could tell my younger self, is just be like, it'll be okay. Just, eat your lunch, eat your dal and rice, and tell people you can sing, and, do your Bollywood dances and things like that. So yeah. And I think I did do that towards the end of high school and definitely into college, but yeah, it was quite the journey to get there.
I was doing just fine before I met you. I drink too much and that's an issue, but I'm okay.
Hey, you tell your friends it was nice to meet them, but I hope I never see them again. I know it breaks your heart. Moved to the city in a broke down car. 4 years no calls, now you're looking pretty in a hotel bar. And I can't stop. No, I can't stop. So baby, pull me closer in the backseat of your Rover that I know you can't afford. Bite that tattoo on your shoulder. Pull the sheets right off the corner of that mattress that you stole from your roommate back in Boulder. We ain't ever getting older. since the day I met you. I forget just why I left you, I was insane.
Stay and play that Blink-182 song that we beat to death in Tucson, okay.
I know it breaks your heart. Moved to the city in a broke down car. 4 years no call. Now I'm looking pretty in a hotel bar. And I can't stop. No, I can't stop. So baby, pull me closer in the backseat of your Rover that I know you can't afford. Bite that tattoo on your shoulder. Pull the sheets right off the corner of that mattress that you stole from your roommate back in Boulder. We ain't ever getting older.
In 2017, even to this day, one of your most popular Bollywood mashup is Closer and Kabira. So,
Yeah.
you know, what really inspired that? And I got to say that it was really humbling to listen to you sing the vocals, and you have some American people, especially, I don't know the name of the gentleman, but playing the tabla, I was like,
Yeah.
wow, what's going on here?
Show me. Yes. Right.
Yeah, so stuff like that.
Yeah. I think that's, you know, that exact thing is what inspired my music. And obviously mashups, as you know, being from Guyana, it's not something that's new. It's not novel. People have been doing it for generations, like our parents' generations and our grandparents. And there have been people just, fusing these languages and anyone that moves away from their home country. So I think that that was exactly how I was feeling. I was like, I can be both, and in one song, how can I showcase both things, and obviously Indian music is very, it's very different stylistically, and as is Western music, but they do meet in the middle, and especially through pop music, and that's kind of what inspired that. And I was like, okay, here I am, like singing this like Sia cover. That was my first mashup. And then I was like listening back to it, and I was like, I think it needs an Indian touch. And so Shankar Tucker, who is my producer and we work together a lot, he was like, okay, why don't you sing Kabhi Jo Badal, to go with it? And we were like, okay, let's give it a shot. And that's honestly how that was born. And we kept doing it, and it felt really natural. So yeah, I think that's kind of like very organic, and that's the way. And even with my original music now, kind of have the same approach. It's like, okay, I want to sing stuff in English, and because I can write music in English. So I'm like writing in English, and I'm like, but I want Indian instrumentation, or I want, a little bit of like Hindi words, and kind of like in Lost in the Summer, with the most recent single, it's like, it has, Ajare in it. So it's like, but everything else is in English, but the hook has Ajare over and over and again. So kind of like that. So still having that same approach with my original music, I'm always in touch with that.
Summer night, seaside, hey, right turn of a low tide, hey, look inside of my eyes, hey, tell me what you see. Days come and days go by, dry fires, we live slow. I'm in love but don't know why, tell me what could be. Take your hand in mine, won't just take a time, let's be lost in the summer together. Life is easier, hold me deeper, if we're lost in the summer forever and ever. You know, I love it how we take things real slow. I love it how we don't need to show. The world ain't got to know. We're standing on the edge, dive in. Are we underwater? Breathing. Don't you know you got me reeling? I can't let you go.
All right, so when you talk about Lost in the Summer, I mean, I recently played that song on my radio show, and I'm like, we're looking forward to having an interview with her. And everyone, I mean, they love that hook of Ajare, and I mean, they love the lyrics in English. So let me ask you, I mean, who's been your inspiration in terms of English music? I know that you've studied Carnatic music at the age of 5 and all the way through, but in terms of like American artists, I mean, who's been your inspiration? Like as a kid, you listen to her or maybe to him and you're like, you know what, one of these days I want to replicate what that person's doing.
Oh my God, hands down Beyonce. If anybody knows me at all, I am a huge Beyonce fan. So definitely hands down Beyonce in terms of American artists, but also I listen to a wide variety of artists. So I also love, Nicki Minaj. I love Coldplay. I love, even like old school rappers like, old school Jay-Z or Tupac or, yeah, so I really love a lot of different artists. And more recently, Dua Lipa has been amazing. I love Ariana Grande. So like Rosalia, more specifically, she's awesome. She does like a similar like flamenco fusion in her music and sings in Spanish. So she's very cool. So I really get inspired by a lot of artists that are, doing their thing. But if I had to pick one, it would be Beyonce.
All right. So, as you mentioned, Beyonce, I mean, that's something else we also have in common. As a kid and also growing up, I was a huge Beyonce fan. So hands on Beyonce.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. So, okay. And as you mentioned, like, I mean, rap and also hip hop, I know that you bring that sense of element to like, some of your songs actually, like Tel Aviv, actually, I want to talk about that, but, and that was very unique. I have to say, I love the video. So I believe that was actually a tribute to basically your grandmother and your mom, and also not only that, but strong women. I mean, I think that we're in the era of women empowerment. So I think that video sent a message that, well, here, we're women, we're here, like, I mean, don't underestimate us, right? Is that one of the sense?
Yeah, that absolutely is. Talavi means female leader in Tamil, which is my native language. And I feel like if you are a woman, you're strong automatically. There's no like weak woman. You don't find that. And I feel like women are just, even today, like we're, fighting for things like equal pay. We're fighting for, so many issues. And I feel like on top of that, we're raising kids, we're running businesses, we are, taking care of our families, being sisters, friends, mothers, daughters. And I think that, and all do it while looking good and trying to keep a smile on our face. So I think that's something that I really saw my mom doing growing up, and also my grandma and I, the sacrifices they've made so that I could live my dream, because my grandma obviously didn't live her dream, and she obviously, she was like a housewife, so that was not her dream in life, but she had to do that so then my mom could live a little bit of hers, but then finally in my generation, I can live mine. And so I was thinking of the word Talavi with Shankar, and we were talking about it, and I was like, you know what, this literally represents my grandma and my mom. Like, they are the female leaders in their communities, in their families. And I just felt like very natural to dedicate the song to them. And my grandma was actually also there on set, because it was in Chennai. We shot it in Chennai, about 2 hours outside of the city, and she was there on set, and she was fully enjoys coming on set or coming to my concerts and stuff. So it was really fun to do that video, and that song had a lot of meaning to it while I was writing it and shooting. So
sun up, head out, glitter and gold. Got my ladies by my side, what you been told? Independent, gotta take pride, yeah. Cause I'm living my life. unnecessary from our waist. Working hard, not a hair out of place. We don't fit the rules, we break them. Fingers dripping in thangam. We just having fun, cause we number one. Keep on fighting, ladies, we already won. The life is show 'em how it's done. Lady, but don't underestimate me. Something more than just a body. When the music elevates me, I'm not bossy, I'm the boss. Make my own way, I ain't lost. Brains and beauty, we can have it all. Try to push me down, but I won't fall. We just having fun, cause we number one. Keep on fighting, ladies, we already won. The life is show 'em how it's done. Side by side, be your ride or die. If you feel it, let me see your hands up high. Ladies, side by side, be your ride or die. If you feel it, let me see your hands up high. If you feel it, let me see your hands up high. If you feel it, let me see your hands up high.
All right, you know, I have to say, I'm listening to you, and when you spoke about your mom and also your grandma, I mean, I can think of so many strong women who, and you know, they're also added to that list, who truly are the definition of endurance. I mean, I think that they go through so much, and you know, there's some hurdles along the way, and sometimes we as children might say certain things, we might do certain things, not taking them into interest, but they'll never really let us know that, you know,
Correct.
if we've done anything that's hurt their feelings. They'll continue, as you said, they smile right through. And when you look back at the years in which, you know, you faced the bullying, the years of like not being accepted, what would you say was your mother and also grandmother's advice to you then? And what's their advice, or what do they say when they look at this young girl, right, who, you know, migrated or was living in the United States, trying to find herself, now has found herself and helping so many millions of people find themselves? What do they say to you these days?
These days, they're very extremely supportive. And there are days that, you know, I'm obviously like very happy and now and things like that. But there are days that I am down and I, you know, have anxiety and things like that. So my mom always talks me through it. And so does my grandma, actually. I talk to her every day, even during COVID times. And yeah, they definitely, you know, they're always encouraging. They're like, breathe through it, or like, they're like, you got this, you've done this before, or, you know, we've been through so many other like harder times than these. And so, you know, they're very encouraging, very supportive, and they've always been very encouraging and supportive. You know, my mom had to make some unconventional decisions for her life when I was growing up. So, you know, when I told her, for example, that I wanted to do music, which is an extremely rare thing for South Asian kids, as you know, also probably in your family. And they were very supportive. They were just like, yes, you should give this a shot. I'll give you 2 years. And then if it works out, it works out. So I think they're pretty happy now. So I think but they're all about it. Yeah.
All right. So, you know, you mentioned something that I want to come to in a few moments, but as you mentioned that, you know, they said that they'll give you 2 years to do music, and I think that all of us can, unequivocally agree that Vidya Vox is, well, musically, she's a genius. I mean, I don't know how any beat she puts or on her vocals, it's splendid, it's superb. But not only that, academically, you're also very intelligent as well. I mean, you've got a bachelor's degrees in biological sciences, I believe, and you studied a lot. And biology was something that held an interest for you. So when you look at it that, after all the years of pursuing biology and then here you are in music, I mean, do you think that maybe along the way while studying the sciences and everything like that, that you probably thought that, this is who I'm told to be, but who I want to be is something else. I want to be a performer. I want to be someone who communicates to the world rather than, discovering, I don't know, the next cure for cancer or anything like that.
Oh gosh. Yeah, thank you. I mean, so I actually majored in psychology and minored in biology.
Okay.
So yeah, I did do a lot of science because I was studying to be a doctor. I wanted to go to medical school. So I did want to do that. However, on the weekend, so in college, I met Shankar Tucker. That's how we met. And we would, I don't know, he started a YouTube channel before it was even a thing to start a YouTube channel, especially in India and things like that. And he, asked my sister and I, he's like, can you guys just sing a song? What's your favorite Carnatic composition? And it was Nini Naindal, and we sang for him. And that got a little bit of attention. So we would be called to be part of his concerts and part of his ensemble. So that's kind of how my interest in music started as a career. I was studying, and like on the weekdays, I would be like studying or working, and then on the weekends I would travel with Shankar and be part of his ensemble and part of his concerts as one of his few featured singers. And after I graduated, I kind of was thinking to myself, I was like, this could be a career path. Like Shankar did it, and he knows, and we work together a lot. Obviously we still work together, and he does all the production, so all the things that you're talking about, like with the beat and the music, I obviously can't take credit for that. It has to be Shankar's because it is his work. And he was like, okay, let's give this a shot. So he was in Bombay already at that time. So I told my mom, I was like, Mom, guess what? I'm going to move to Bombay just for a few years. I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to quit studying for pre-med. After I graduated, I was working, and just going to move to Bombay to get back into the music, mindset and get some more lessons and things like that. And she was like, all right, I'll give you 2 years and let's see how it goes. And then so after that, I started my YouTube channel after, I did my 2 years in Bombay, and then I came back home, moved in with my mom. I was like, Mom, I'm so broke. Can I come live with you? And she was like, sure. So, and then we started my YouTube channel, and then I moved out to LA. But, it was like a crazy thing. And it was so anxiety provoking, that decision. I just remember being so troubled and so unhappy at my job and unhappy with what I'm doing. And it's like, we live one life, you got to give it a shot. And this is the time to chase your dreams. And there's always a chance that it's not going to work out, but if you don't try, you're never going to know. So that was my thought process behind that.
Summer night, seaside, hey, right turn of a low tide, hey, look inside of my eyes, hey, tell me what you see.